Thank you, everyone, for attending virtually tonight. I'd like to thank Brian Harding and our partners at Andersen for providing us the opportunity to look back at what we've been able to accomplish together during what has been a very challenging year, but also to look forward to what we're going to accomplish in 2022. There will be a mix tonight of both live interaction and pre-recorded videos, and we really hope that you enjoy this format. We're taking attendance on the back end of this production, and we will email certificates to everyone by the end of this week. Every one of you attending tonight will be earning 2 CEUs for your elective CSL requirements. Working with us and using Andersen products for your projects means that not only do you have the superior quality and performance that Andersen products provide, but you also have the support of an outstanding service team here at Shepley. Tonight, our service experts will demonstrate how proper installation is critical in order to have products perform as they are expected to and to avoid costly callbacks. Now, it gives me great pleasure to introduce our Andersen Showcase Manager, Joe Murphy, who will go over tonight's agenda.
Thank you, Tony. Welcome, everyone, to our 2022 Shepley Andersen Seminar. I'm Joe Murphy, Shepley Showcase Manager. We have a jam-packed agenda to get through, as Tony mentioned, tonight, starting with Brian Harding from Andersen Windows and Doors, and then followed up by our Shepley Service Team. Mark Hambley, Dave Marinelli, and Connor Carroll are going to install an A-series double-hung window. And then special treat, we're joined by Mark Hambley live here in the studio to answer some questions from you. And you'll have a couple opportunities tonight to ask questions. So, and I'll show you how to ask questions in the next slide. But Mark's going to be followed by our project highlights from our salespeople and some of the projects that they've been lucky enough to work with you all this past year. Tammy Beer-Santos, then Katrina Gagnon, and Ross Goodwin. That will be followed by a new feature on our website that we're really excited about, our virtual showcase tour. And I'll walk you through how to access it and how to use it. Very cool tool. And then some closing remarks by Tony. So as I mentioned, if you want to participate tonight by asking a question, and we really hope you do, on your Zoom, you'll see on the bottom left-hand corner your Q&A feature. So please ask us some questions, and we'll have a couple opportunities throughout the presentation to answer them. So with that, I'm going to kick it off to Brian Harding from Andersen Windows and Doors.
Welcome, everybody. That time of the year again, Shepley Andersen meetings, kind of review where we're at, and most importantly, thank you for all that you do with your business. Obviously, like you, we're extremely busy, and that's being very cautious saying that. So I know it's been challenging for everyone, not only with products, but just life in general. And so I want to start off tonight by at least talking a little bit about a word that I've heard quite often lately: lead times. And I want to tell you that if you get a message from one of the Shepley Showcase personnel about lead times, they're only delivering the message that Andersen has delivered to them. So it's not them making decisions, it's not Shepley's, it's Andersen. And so with that said, our lead times right now, the way we describe them, are dynamic, meaning they can change at any moment. The supply chain is strained. You probably haven't heard that before, but I'm sure you experience it all day long, not only with doors and windows, but with many other of your building products. So, some examples of what we're running into, you've probably seen stainless steel. Well, all our hardware is stainless steel. So we've had a couple of times where literally we've had to stop the line because we don't have hardware to put on casement or awning windows. And when you stop the line, that means that everything behind that backs up, which means those materials are not going to get to the dealer, who then can ship it to the job site. And a couple of examples of some of the things, how do you stop that? Well, we literally have trucks parked at the airport out in Minnesota, and we're air freighting components in. Now, we did have a situation to where we thought we were getting 5,000 of the casement hardware pieces in. The truck showed up all ready to get those parts and pieces, and there was 500, which means we could only run so long. And again, I'm not making excuses, but thought you might want to hear of some of those challenges. Aluminum right now, and you will see this. Any of you cat lovers out there and trying to find canned cat food, that's an aluminum can, and they are short. You're going to see aluminum show up in a lot of different things, and you're going to find that all that material is short, and we're running into the same issue. So again, some of those challenges are really our supplier to us, and then we got to deliver that news, unfortunately, to Shepley, and Shepley passes it on to you. But again, you know, it's really our way of communicating, and I know you need to have solid dates, and I'm telling you right now, it's unfortunate, but we have a difficult time doing that. We're doing the best we can. And let you know that everyone at Andersen understands that, from the people right on the line who their job has changed, especially with COVID. Any of you that have been out to the plant and taken the tour, you're looking through everything through plexiglass from one station to another. So again, the showcase staff here at Shepley's, when they get the information, they are passing it on as best they can. They're just delivering the message. We created the message. There are other challenges. As you know, wood, our product consists of a lot of wood. Pricing and so forth on wood has gone through the roof and continues to go up. Resins, fasteners, you name it. If you're buying screws, I'm sure you've seen the price of that go up. Well, we buy a lot of screws to make a lot of windows, and we're feeling your same pain. So again, probably enough talk about lead times. I ask you to be patient. We are doing the best we can. I did mention the showcase staff. Right now, if you need to know a lead time on a product, the best way to do that is to call your contact at Shepley. They will reach out directly to our sales support team who has that information in front of them. That is the best way to do it. And it might mean you might have to change some of your decisions on what products you use. Currently, there's a little bit of an issue with some dark color, but only on the A series exterior. You can get that same dark color in a 400 series product in black, and there is no issue. And it's just a compound that needs to be put on the A series product in order to make that finish stick, and it's shorthanded. Couple of other things, and maybe we will consider these some of the new things, and we don't have a lot of that right now. But you'll notice on the Shepley website, as well as on the Andersen website, a three-dimensional tour of the Shepley Showcase. And every year you hear me say the same thing, but I encourage you to have your customers come in if they're making decisions, or even you as the builder or the designer, and get the experts to explain to you some of the differences. At the same time, you'll get the information about what's the lead time on that particular product, because that's what I really want. And if that lead time's too long, they can give you information on something that may be attainable sooner. So that showroom, when you go on it, is now three-dimensional, meaning you can tour it. And I'm not going to steal some of Joe Murphy's thunder, because he's going to go through that with you. But the big doors, the A-series products, all that product is in the showroom, and you can basically walk through it as if you were in your own house. So pretty cool stuff. 400 series, there is a move in the marketplace for contemporary. So on our casements and awnings and picture windows, we are going to start offering a different style stop if you choose to go contemporary, which will give you more glass to give you that more contemporary look. Some of you may have seen an email come out. We've kind of given a sneak preview, but more of that information will be coming here end of first quarter, going into the second quarter. Coming up after I give this little spiel is Mark Hambley from the Shepley Service Team, and he's going to go through an A-series installation. The importance of that is when Mark's doing this, it's really per our manufacturer's instructions, which are really per the building code and building standards that are out there. So I'll ask you just to watch Mark, take in good measure what he's telling you. He's only doing it to benefit you so that we don't have any issues down the road. And let me tell you, the Shepley Service Team for Andersen, they are award-winning. They typically get an annual award because of what they do on the Shepley Andersen service side. So Mark, Dave Marinelli, that team, they know what they're talking about. So again, I don't want to stand here and make excuses about lead times. We know we've been the cause of some struggles in your business, and I apologize for that, but we are and will continue to do the best that we can to meet your needs. And I think hopefully, right, we all want to see improvement overall, that will come and we'll be back to the good old days. So again, thank you for your business. And if you have any questions for me, please feel free to reach out. Thanks.
Thanks, Brian. And thank you all, as Brian mentioned, for your patience as we all battle through what we like to refer to here as the toilet paperization of the building products industry lately. I know it can be frustrating, but thanks to Brian and Andersen for working their hardest to work through this. Now we're going to show our service team led by our own Mark Hambley, Dave Marinelli, and Connor Carroll. They're going to install an A-series double hung window, and we'll have time for questions afterwards. So why is installation so important? Well, you'll see it's part of the building code, and part of the building code says that you must install windows and doors per manufacturer's installations instructions, which is exactly what we're going to show you tonight. And please, again, get some questions on your on the bottom of your Zoom. You can ask questions. And if you haven't already worked with our service team, we're really proud to show them here tonight. Mark is the manager, Martha, our coordinator, Dave and Connor, our techs, do a fantastic job. So here is their installation video of an A-series double hung window.
Hi, my name is Mark Hambley. This is Dave Marinelli, Connor Carroll. This is the service team at Shepley. Today in this video, we are going to demonstrate how to properly install an A-series double hung window using Andersen's recommended barrier method install. Now, in previous videos, we've done the drainage method, but in this video, we're going to properly show how to use the barrier method. And the reason for the barrier method install is a couple reasons. You know, the storms that we get on the Cape here with the high winds and stuff, and also recently we've gotten the cyclone bomb storm that just happened in October. So I think it's really important that we're using this install, and that way we're gassing the window right to the sheathing. Okay, before we get started with the install, one of the things you're going to want to do is when you get the units, you're going to want to set up a table like this, and when you pull it out of the box, you're going to want to lay the exterior face down like we have it here. And there's a critical step that doesn't always get followed, and Dave's going to talk about it right now.
So we use an Andersen white sealant that Andersen obviously provides. We do sell it at Shepley. And as you have the window laying down, you just want to make sure you seal all the corners. It's called a back caulking procedure. Now, this is the area you really want to focus on. There's a tiny little pinhole here. And when we do our procedure, you really want to make sure you're putting that sealant in there and sealing that hole real good. And then we kind of just tool it in.
Okay, before we get started on the pan system, we're going to be installing a flex pan system, which is recommended by Andersen. And the reason why we're using a flex pan as opposed to a metal pan is that you do not get a thermal break with any type of lead pan system. There are a lot of other flexible pans out there, like I'm holding this one right here. This happens to be a flex pan by DuPont. One of the features on this one, some guys like, is it has a split back to it. And the Type R doesn't, but that's okay. We're using it here and it works great. So Dave is going to demonstrate how to set the Type R flex pan on this. Dave, you want to give that a go?
The first thing I like to do is I peel off the backing. Find the center of the unit. Just kind of place it down and keeping it tight to the interior edge of your rough opening. It's not cooperating with me here.
Yeah, once you get it down, once you get it tight to the inside, then you can kind of roll it in like Dave's doing. And he's kind of laying it flat on one side. And then he's just going to use his hands and just kind of get it, tuck that thing in nice and tight. We usually leave 6 inches up on each side. Sometimes you can go a little bit more than that. It's not a big deal if you do. And you can see as he's folding that, how the flex pan just molds up and around that corner. And you just work it in all the way in. Down the front of the face of that flex pan. And then he'll do the other side, just do the same thing, get it nice and tight in the corners. Wrapping it up or around.
This is a real nice system because there's no cutting involved. You don't need to cut your corners, potentially putting holes in them. So really recommend it to use this.
The other thing too is once you finish it up, you're gonna want to just kind of roll it out with a J roller. Just get some pressure put on there. So that way it seats itself. You get a nice positive. And to the outside. A lot of times if you get little areas where it does, it starts to bubble up, the J roller will fold it right out. You can see how tight it is on the corners here. When that window goes in, that's going to lay a lot flatter as opposed to if you had copper or lead or whatever. Good job, Dave. Before we install the window unit, we're going to do a perimeter sealant because we're doing the barrier method install like we talked about earlier. But before we do that, we're going to want to cut 45s here. And then what we'll do is we'll just fold this up out of the way. And this is going to be a last line of defense here. And then Dave will do his perimeter sealant around that. Okay.
Like to do a nice 1/2 inch bead all the way around the unit. A little more won't hurt. And I'll cross the bottom here. Okay.
Now, like we talked about before, this method right here, this procedure right here is part of the barrier method install. Like we did the last video, we did the drainage method. So this area right here wasn't sealed. So what we're doing is when this window goes into the opening, we're gasketing this unit right to the sheathing, right to the opening. Okay, so we want to make sure that we're alleviating any air pressure. Okay, we don't want to introduce anything into this opening. Okay, good job, Dave. All right, so I just wanted to talk a little bit about the shimming procedures on this. We're using these plastic U-shaped shims, so we find that these work really well. So the key with these is, and with like any install that you're doing with Andersen product, is you want to make sure that these are positioned right underneath the jam legs, okay? And we're going to position them right here, just, a 1/4 inch on each side. That way we make sure that when the unit goes in, it's shimmed up off the sill, okay? And one thing you don't want to do is you don't want to have them in here and directed in this area. You want to keep all the shims to the outside. That way all the weight is distributed right there. And this, what that's going to do is going to allow you for later on when you have to come back in and foam, okay? So Dave, were we all set to set that unit? No? Okay. Good job. So once we get the window into the opening, we want to make sure that we center the window up inside the rough opening. One of the reasons why we want to do that is because, like I talked about earlier, is when you get ready to do some spray foaming at the end, you want to be able to have space on each side of the window, as well as the top and the bottom, to do a correct foaming. If you don't have that space, if you have the window jacked to one side, you're not going to properly seal the opening the way you need to with the foam, okay? So it's very important to make sure that we get the window set up in the opening. All right, so you guys got that? So we already know that the sill is level, okay? What I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna check here for plumb. See where we are here. Looks pretty good. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna tack that top. Tack the top corner. Okay. And, all right, you guys want to go to the inside and just check the, Dave, you can, and Dave's going to pull a diagonal on the window just to make sure that the unit is square.
Hey, you look good. It's square.
Okay, so before we finish fastening off the window, what we want to do is just make sure that the outside of the window, the side jambs are nice and straight. So Dave's on the inside at the check rail, you know, setting up the shims there, getting those. Dave, you're good here. This is nice and straight here.
Okay.
And if you set those, what this is allowing us to do is get the reveals on the inside.
Okay.
Okay, and then we'll do this side over here.
How's that?
That looks pretty good.
Okay.
Yep.
Good.
Okay. All right, so what we'll do is we're just gonna fasten off the rest of the window. And when you're nailing this off, because we're doing the barrier method install, we want to make sure that we're nailing off all the holes, not every other. I know some guys just do every other, but we want to make sure that we're nailing all the holes using the 1 5/8 roofing nails. All right. So I want to talk a little bit about the shimming procedure that we did while we're installing the window. So as you can see, we shimmed at 3 different locations here on the side. 1 6 inches up from the bottom. We got shim at the check rail, and then about 4 to 6 inches from the top. And the reason for that is we're dealing with an A series product that has a non-compression type jam system. If you remember with the 400 series, the TW unit has a compression jam system where you get constant pressure with the sash and the jam. This you don't. So you're solely relying on the weather stripping on the jam to make contact with that sash. So it's very important that you shim strategically in these areas to keep that reveal even, and also that will help you with the operation of the sash when you go to tilt it. Dave, you want to talk a little bit about the clips?
Yeah, absolutely. So they have these orange packaging clips that come attached to each window, and out of the box, you want to make sure you keep those on. A lot of places I go to will actually take them off, they'll throw them away, and then they'll start shimming the windows. These are really important because it does help you keep a consistent reveal down the lower sash here, and then you can kind of match the upper one as well. As you do remove these shims, you want to make sure you take these screws, same screws, and put them back into the jam through into your rough opening, and that actually helps secure the window to the rough opening.
Perfect. Okay, before we start the exterior flashing detail, because we did the barrier method install, we're going to need to flash the bottom part of the window and then the 2 sides. And then after we do that, then we're going to do a perimeter seal around the whole unit. And then we're going to set the drip cap embedded into that sealant. And then we're going to tack that off, flash that, and then we're going to bring this tight bar wrap down as the last line of defense. So we just finished up the flashing of the outside part of the unit. I just wanted to talk a little bit about some of the flashing that we did use. So as you can see, we used the 3M flashing. Some guys like this product. Other guys are using Vicor, Type Power. Whatever your preference is, the important thing is that you're applying it the right way in the sequence that we did it, okay? That's probably the most important thing. And if you are using like Vicors or, other butyl-based type, materials, you want to make sure that those stay, especially this time of year, in a warm environment before you get it to the outside and you start applying it. You want to make sure that's kind of warmed up a little bit before you start using this. 3M tape really sticks well. So, and it's nice and flat, so that's why we use that. So now what we're going to do is we're going to flip this display around and we're going to talk about the foaming procedures on the inside. So before we start the foaming procedures, we just wanted to show you how to make sure that you're peeling off these little tabs right here, and you got to cut them off. Reason why we like the plastic as opposed to the shims, it's a little bit easier to just snip these off, score them with a utility knife or whatever. And then what that's going to allow you to do is start your foaming procedure up and around and over those shims, like Dave is doing right now. He's just going to pop them off, like so. Okay. So now we're getting ready for the foaming procedure. Before we do that, Dave was talking earlier about the orange clips before. Dave's going to just release those clips and then set those screws through the jams. And then we can start the foaming procedure on the inside. I did want to talk a little bit about high performance in the unit. We're always talking about belt and suspenders type application, and one of the things that we've come up with is a product called Pure Black. And we've used Pure Black in a lot of our installs to high performance the install of the window. And what I mean by that is we take the Pure Black and we inject it into the corners of the unit. You get right straight back where the flanges are, and you inject the Pure Black just in and around the corners of the unit. That way we can kind of high performance that the install. And what that's doing is that low expansion Pure Black is getting seated to the back side of the flange and will eliminate any gapping. There shouldn't be any gapping there anyways, but again, we're just high performance in the install. Okay? And then once we do that, then we go around the perimeter, we're doing window low expansion foam to finish it up. All right, so just to do a quick recap of the barrier method install we did today for you. So the critical steps are, when you're taking the unit out of the box, you want to make sure you're sealing the inside corners of the unit before you do the install. We covered the flex pan as opposed to a metal pan, and you want to make, because you're getting a thermal break with that flex pan, and it's part of the Andersen recommended install as well. The shimming procedure is super important, making sure that we're shimming that window up off the framing, so we're getting, a nice even reveal on the bottom. So, and the sides, we want to make sure that the sides are, the unit's centered up in the opening. And the critical thing is, when Dave was doing it, was we were able to get foam in and around the unit with no problem. So we didn't have that unit jacked to one side trying to get foam in there and causes a whole bunch of mess. So, making sure that we're shimming properly strategically at the side jams, and then, then we're finishing it up with the flashing, because we're doing the barrier method, we're flashing the bottom part of the window first, and then we're doing the sides, and then finishing it off with the top, making sure that we're using the drip cap as well. And then, the perimeter seal is a big thing, and often enough gets missed in my opinion. So making sure that we're doing that perimeter seal after we do our flashing is really super key, and what that does is that bonds that flashing tape to the unit for a nice tight seal. If you get any questions about the content of this video, please feel to reach out to your sales team or call the Shepley Service Department.
Thanks, Mark. That was great. Great installation video. And as promised, we have live in the studio, Mark Hambley. How you doing tonight, Mark?
Good, Joe, thanks.
Good.
Yeah, welcome everyone.
As we discussed earlier on your Zoom, bottom left-hand corner, Q&A, please ask some questions while we have Mark. And we've got a couple in the queue already, so if it's okay with you, we'll just get started.
Let's do it.
All right. First question is from Pete. Which is the better method of install, the barrier method or the drainage method?
Pete, thanks for the question. And because where we live on Cape Cod, and recently we experienced these cyclone bomb storms, and we get these high wind storms. What we recommend at Shepley's is the barrier method. So it's one of those things where when you get those storms, you want to do everything you can to gasket that window to the sheathing. So barrier method is the recommended install for Shepley's.
Yeah, especially when you get a storm, right? And the wind is going uphill. And that,
Yeah, exactly.
and you can easily see water getting in that cavity if you just leave a little tiny pinhole open.
Yeah, and again, the bomb cyclone storms that we get, another name for that is a winter hurricane. So it's pretty nasty.
Yeah. All right, next question is from Josh. I have always nailed the nailing flange every other hole and have never had a problem. Is nailing every hole a new process?
Well, we always encourage nailing every hole. And one of the reasons for that is since we went to 2x6 construction, you're seeing houses being built super tight with the use of icing insulation. And so what we recommend is just following that method. So what was I going to say is the 2x6 construction and the foam is a tighter construction in the field. So nailing every hole in the flange is the best way to do it.
All right. Next question is from Bray Carpentry. Does Shepley sell those plastic clips or do they come with the window?
That's a great question. That the plastic clips come with the window after you pull it out of the box. There's a little screw on each one that holds that clip in place, that holds the jam liners together.
Yeah.
Good question.
And next, another question. They're coming in fast and furious. Thank you all. From John. Why don't you seat the flange on the sides the same way you do at the top?
So you're not seating the flange. I'm not quite sure how he means that question. Can you repeat the question?
Why don't you seat the flange on the sides the same way you do at the top?
So, well, we're doing the barrier method install. So we're seating the flange inside the sealant all the way around. So the flange gets seated just like the sides.
Yeah.
But
then there's an extra step on the top.
Yeah, you probably see in the video that before we do another sealant procedure around the perimeter, and then we're embedding the drip cap
right
over that.
Yeah. Another question is, what is the purpose of a pan in the barrier installation?
So the pan is part of Andersen's recommended install anyways. But with the pan system, it's more of an evaporation area for whatever were to get in there. If anything were to get in there, it's more of an evaporation point, which will just protect the wood structure below.
And next question from Jim. Do you void the warranty if you don't use Andersen installation sealant when installing their windows?
So Jim, that's a good question. There is no warranty on Andersen's installation, but Andersen requires or recommends, I should say, a high quality sealant. And what they've done over the years, a few years back, is their R&D department developed a sealant which we now know is the Andersen installation sealant. Back then it came out as Manispond, if you're familiar with that product, but now it's Andersen installation sealant. And with that R&D, it's specific for their product and how the product is tested at the factory. And it's, it has a wide range of install range from like 10 degrees up to 110. And it also is paintable as well. So it's a good sealant to use when you're in what we recommend for the product installation.
Yeah, it's been a very popular product for us here at Shepley for a number of different uses too. So builders really like it, and we stock it.
Exactly.
Next question is from Josh. Does Shepley sell the plastic shims? Yes, we do as well. You saw in the video using the shims, and we sell that and stock it at Shepley as well. And then question from John. This goes back to the flange question, same John. So what I meant was, why don't you peel the paper back on the sides the same way you do on the top? So the paper that you cut on an angle.
Yeah, so because we're using a house wrap, the house wrap is meant and designed to fold to the inside. So you're getting, so you're doing a sealant over that. The top part is more of a, like your, I guess you would say the last line of defense when you flashed everything, so that house wrap goes over the drip cap and everything else. So that's kind of following the drainage plane for that particular install.
All right, so that's it for questions. Again, we'll have a couple of opportunities throughout the presentation, so please remember to use your Zoom Q&A feature on the bottom of your screen, and we'll definitely be able to answer some more later on in the presentation. Right now, we're going to go to our project highlights from our outside salespeople who have been lucky to work with you all on projects throughout this past year. We're going to start out with Tammy Bierce-Santos. Tammy is our outside salesperson covering Barnstable, Yarmouth, and Chatham. And here is Tammy.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our annual Andersen review. And what a year it's been. We've all been crazy busy, as we all like to say, and I'd just like to show you a couple projects that I got to work on with you and some of the highlights of what Andersen can do. This was a project in Hyannisport. We had a really old portion of the house with old wood windows. We were able to fit those with insert windows, tilt wash. The second portion of the house, as we know here on Cape, we like to do add-ons. They already had narrow line windows. In there, we were able to do conversion kits. So we didn't have to disturb the openings. We were able to put new tilting windows with applied grills. Worked out great. And then they decided to add on that lovely sunroom, and those were new construction tilt wash windows. So regardless of the generation or the time frame of your project, we do have solutions to fit all of the holes and make everything match. So I thought that was a great representation of what Andersen can do. This is just one view on the inside of that house. Great. That was a conversion kit and we put a door by it. So, I think it finishes out beautifully, and they got some great interior trim from us as well. This was a bay window that they decided to have dye into the countertop. I do have that little bit of backsplash, but this is what everybody's going for now. And I thought it was really great that we could accomplish this with a bay window, and it turned out beautifully. This was another project in Hyannisport. This is what it looked like when I walked in. You had the transoms over the double sliding door with the stationary panels. This is what everybody was looking for back in the 80s. And it's a great, beautiful look. I happen to have a really tall new homeowner in this location, and he decided we wanted to bring that up and get rid of all of that. I didn't do a great job on that picture, but there's a 4-panel door. We made it 8 feet, and we were able to make the double hungs taller, get rid of those transoms, and just do a transom look and align everything. It's very important when you're asking for things to align that you get us involved, because then we do need to go to Andersen to get shop drawings done, and we can make everything work for you. This is the front of that house. Again, when I walked up, that whole centerpiece was very busy and just kind of closed everything off. And the homeowner again wanted to open everything. So we got rid of all of that, made everything taller, put that short fractional look in, opened everything up, and I think it turned out great. Definitely more welcoming. I thought this was a neat little spot. So this is in that stairway when you go back and you look there, and that little trapezoid window there is a great view right before you step into the master window. And they put one of our Andersen windows right in the stairway so they can look down from their master bedroom as well. Again, this is a beautiful spot of what do we do with all these angles? We still want the windows to open. We need some air. So those are little awnings there with the trapezoids above it. And we were able to align that short fractional to the grills and the traps. Nothing better than waking up in your bed and that's the view you get to see. So that's the view from the interior. Another great project in Osterville. This is all new construction. This is the house where everything aligns. I think that was the key for us in my group was alignment this year. We did get the opportunity to do this great radius unit with the Gothic lights in the front, which I think is a great statement piece. Again, now we're just starting to see the alignment here in the front. And I think it turned out beautifully inside. All the trim was provided by Shepley as well. They're still working on it, as you can see, the paint inside, but I just wanted to point out, I have the double hungs, the picture window, and the door. That line goes all the way across the room. And this was very important to the architect. Again, this goes back to shop drawings. It does take a little more time, but when we're able to accomplish this, the look is beautiful. This is the same situation, same house, but the one thing I wanted to point out is when we take that double hung and we're aligning it to the short fractional in the door, that short fractional in the door, that daylight opening is going to get a little bit shorter because the headrail on the door is bigger than the double hung. So it's just something to think about when we're talking about alignment is how those things will look different. This was a great project that I got to do. Old house. We had 8/8 white windows. The house didn't make a statement at all. This was a labor of love because every single window in this house was custom sized. Thank you to Andrew Tyner, who was there to help me. We are a team here, so we always have support. Double checking is important because there are over 100 windows, all with diamond grills. So this is a wood-right window, black with diamond grills. Just ask. Great project in Sassuet. Beautiful Andersen A-series windows. The homeowner was kind of trying to figure out what he wanted. He came in, he said, this is going to work for me. I worked closely with the architect and I think it turned out beautifully. This is the interior of, again, all of that alignment, both vertically and horizontally. You know, we have multiple floors, multiple light cuts, but it all works. Those are the A-series windows, the old 9/1 with the transoms. Just because I said earlier, we got rid of the transoms on the other house doesn't mean that they aren't pertinent and they don't work. We just need to make sure we're getting enough daylight opening in all of those. So it's something to talk about when we're sizing them. Great example of a door with the two double hungs. This one doesn't align. And that was specific because if we offset the grill and the double hung, those lights wouldn't be equal. So again, having the conversations is really important. Here's a project in Harwichport. This one is near and dear to my heart because we used every single Andersen product available to us. These are A-series impact windows. And, we were right there on the water. I think it was the right solution for this location. Location is really important when you're choosing your product to make sure you understand about performance and wind speed and what you really need in order to make it work well. This is an E-series door that we got to, the architect decided to use so we could get the panel and keep everything, all the openings in the house taken care of by Andersen, so we can do those E-series doors with the panels. A bifold door here in the same location. This is impact. So Andersen has made this available to us now. It's something you should be aware of, that bifold doors are available in impact rated product. And then we have a 4-panel A-series door. And the one thing that I want to point out here, again, alignment was a fun thing this year. On the left-hand side, we have the A-series slider, we have the bifold door, and then tucked in the side, we have an E-series panel door. all of those grills align, even though they're coming from different factories. We worked with Andersen, we got the drawings, and it all worked. And there's the finished back of the project. I think it turned out beautifully. It'll stand up to the location, and we made the right choices. I really appreciate everything we got to do with you this year. If I didn't take your picture, it's okay. I really enjoyed the process, and I'm sure that we'll be able to do more again. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Tammy. Great presentation. And if you need to contact Tammy, or if you have any questions about the presentation or just your window needs in general, and you're our customer in Barnstable, Yarmouth, and Chatham, please reach out to Tammy at the numbers below, and Candace Gagnon, who is her inside sales support. The next project highlight we have is from Katrina Gagnon. Katrina is our outside sales window specialist for the Upper Cape and Off Cape. So here's Katrina.
Hi, I'm Katrina Gagnon, outside Andersen rep for Shepley. The best part of my job is making your job easier and supplying you with the highest quality windows to achieve your vision. I want to take you through some of the projects that I have led in the last year. This is a remodel job in Falmouth. The homeowner is an accredited art restorer, and here is some of his work. This is a portrait from the 1600s, and this is from the 1700s. As you can see, as an art restorer, he needs the light to bring these works of art back to life. Light is very important to him. This is the existing exterior window wall in his art studio. It's a little bit of a mess at this stage. The colors don't match, the frames don't match, the glass is even broken in some of the units. And here's a nice before shot of the interior view. I met with the contractor and homeowner on site to discuss some options and take some preliminary measurements for budget. Working with an artist has its perks. On the left, he created the existing window layout. On the right is the look that he was envisioning. We got there with 400 series tilt wash, transoms, and a few custom picture units. After he approved the budget number, we had a final site visit with the homeowner and contractor, finalized measurements, and discussed how the contractor was going to install and put structure in between the units, and also new headers. We sent this to Andersen for a CAD drawing to see what it would actually look like with real dimensions incorporated. And here's the final CAD drawing from Andersen for approval. With no installation challenges, here we are. The homeowner was extremely happy with the final outcome. We achieved his vision of the correct amount of light and beauty and added a lot of energy efficiency. This office building is right on Route 28 in downtown Falmouth. The owner wanted to update the look to really stand out since he had just purchased the building. He wanted to get away from the hollow vinyl, white insert windows that were existing. He picked out 400 series tilt wash, black exterior and black interior with 3/4-inch grills between the glass for easy cleaning. He wanted to get rid of those mulls in the front and replace with picture units to change the look and maximize the view. This is the rear before view to give you an idea of what we're working with. I met the contractor on site to measure, and you could tell there was really something going on under all that trim. So the contractor pulled some off so we didn't have any surprises later on. Surprise! These can be 6 inches wider. And here's a before and after. As you can see, the windows are much wider on the right-hand side. And here's the front. On the left are the mulls, and the right are the picture units that replaced them, and it really opens up that view. With a seamless window installation, the business owner is very happy with the new look and much larger windows. This project is in Duxbury. It was built in 1792, and it's recognized by the Duxbury Historical Society. These homeowners actually lived right down the street and were in the process of remodeling their house when this one came on the market. They loved it so much they stopped the work on their existing house and started right back up on this one. The owners wanted to replace all the windows in the house, but wanted to do it slowly over time. They also weren't interested in changing the color. With the property being right on the water and the challenges with weather, a historical building, and the desire to match the color, we went with the A-Series product here. So here are the old wood windows in the back of the house where we started, and here are the new A-Series units. The old wood windows here were fairly tall, so the homeowner wanted to add transoms and make the unit shorter to accommodate. So this is an ongoing project. I just ordered the rest of the house. That being said, the homeowners have noticed a difference in their heating costs already, and the house isn't even completely done. The A-Series being a PG-50 out of the box and historically correct, they were a perfect choice for this spot. From art studio to office building to historical oceanfront home, I look forward to helping you with all of your upcoming projects.
Thanks, Katrina. That was a great presentation. So if you have any questions or just want to reach out to Katrina, with all your window needs. She covers the Upper Cape and Off Cape, and she is supported on the inside by Lindsay Crowley. The next project highlight we have is from our Nantucket outside sales window specialist, Ross Goodwin. Take it away, Ross.
Hi, Ross Goodwin from Shepley. I'm the outside sales person for Andersen products, doors and windows on Nantucket. And we're going to take a look back at some of the projects we've done in the past year and some of the products we've used on these projects. In this example, the customer wanted a traditional looking wood window. So what we provided them with is the Woodwright. And the Woodwright has the concealed jam liners. And this one came pre-finished with the white enamel finish on the interior. In this photo, you'll see the blue finish. This is painted, this came natural pine. This was painted after the fact to match the interior trims. And then we have the benefit of the sash lock operation for the easy tilt in to clean operation of this window. On these windows, we used full height screens. Another option is the storm combo unit. And the benefits with that would be additional protection against the elements, and sound transmission would be reduced. This would be a great benefit if you live in a high traffic area. Now, I think of Andersen doors, and you probably do too as well, as all glass doors, typically the sliders, the French doors, the big doors. What I wanted to do is offer this picture for you to see an entry door. This is an example of the Andersen hardware used on this door. And we can match this hardware throughout your entire project. So let's consider the Andersen entry doors for your next project. You'll receive all the same benefits of the other Andersen products we're using. Now, this is in a residential area in historic downtown Nantucket. The owners here wanted to be able to open up this wall of glass to open up to their outdoor dining. These big doors are a popular trend on the island these days. On this project, working with Mark and Rich at Tradewinds Custom Building, we had fun designing this door for the owner. It's solid mahogany, not your typical clad exterior like 95% of the doors we're doing. This was required by HDC, given the location. This is a great example of the versatility of Andersen products and what they can provide. Not just a clad product, but a solid wood product as well. So here you can see the inside of this door. It's the mahogany that's carried through because it's a solid wood door. This door will open all the way to the right, opening to the outdoor dining area. And you can see the hardware they selected, one of the fine selections that Andersen has to offer. And here you can see the quality and the beauty of the solid mahogany of the materials that Andersen is using. I think this is a great example of Andersen's versatility and capabilities. I want to thank you guys for letting me be part of your projects here on the island. I'm looking forward to next year. Last year was outstanding. And let's have a great 2022.
Thanks, Ross. Great job. Ross, as we mentioned, covers our Nantucket window and door sales, and he's supported on the inside by Jeanette Kendi. So please reach out to them with any questions about the presentation or just window sales in general. And they, in turn, are supported by our whole Shepley Showcase team. So we're really proud to serve you, our customers, and we really, really appreciate your business. And thanks to you from all of us. Now is the time we have a little bit of extra time, so we're going to squeeze in some more questions, if that's okay with you, Mark.
Perfect.
All right,
let's
great.
do it.
We'll go back to Peter, who is asking, what will be the difference between house wrap and using tar paper?
Peter, good question. That comes up a lot when I'm in the field. A lot of the installation methods that you're talking about is kind of old school, but and the reason why I say that is because it's because of what we're dealing here with the how tight. Again, I'm just going to go back on how tight we're building houses today, construction wise. 2x6 construction. Everything is being insulated with foam icing insulation. So the houses are being built so tight. When we're doing the install, And again, these install methods are by Andersen, and they're designed and they're tested at the factory with this. So when you're doing a house wrap, you kind of get a better seal, as you're not worrying about water driving up underneath that felt spline, I guess. And you're not really making a positive contact. When you get the house wrap that's wrapped in, you're able to seal right on top of that house wrap and get a nice tight seal that way. So, that's the major reason for it.
Great.
Hopefully that helps.
Next question is from Frank. Why do you need so many shims at the side jambs when installing the A-series double hung window?
Frank, good question. Again, you guys are getting a lot of good questions here tonight. I'm glad that everybody's really paying attention to that. So that's a great question. And I would say that the reason for the shims on the side jam, first of all, it's Andersen's it's a requirement of Andersen's installation requirement with this particular product in general, with the A series. And to be more specific, we got the unit here, so I can kind of go through it with you. The A series double hung, if you look at this unit, has a non-compression jam system. Okay, a lot of you probably are familiar with the 400 series, where it has a compression jam system. This has a non-compression jam system, and what I mean by that is, with the 400 series, you get constant contact with the jam, side jam, and sash when you're installing the 400 series tilt wash. With the A series, you have to shim strategically in order to get proper contact with the side jam, which has the weather stripping, and the sash itself. Okay, so you want to make sure you're shimming the side jam straight, for proper install and proper sealing along this edge, and also proper sealing with the side jam, which has the weather stripping, and also operation. As you can see, when you're tilting this, you can feel it just rubbing on that side jam weather stripping, and the sash comes to the inside with relatively, no problem at all. So that's the reason for it. Hopefully that helps.
Great, thanks. Next question is from John. Any difference on the sealing process if it's standard plywood sheathing versus the newer zip wall system? We've gotten this question a few times over the last 2 nights. So,
yeah. So, well, I'll just specifically with the zip wall system, it's a different install in the way that you're probably going to be using zip wall system. They have a stretch tape, for their sill pan, which is very nice. It flexes very easy, and it adheres super tight to the structure. So you want to make sure that first of all, you're using their product. You're staying in the family with that, and also you're using the same application as far as install, as far as doing the perimeter, sealant with the Andersen installation right to the zip wall system, and then you're following the same flashing detail that we outlined here, and again using the zip wall tape with that application, because you want to keep it in the same family, because that's going to give you that product is specially designed to adhere to the zip wall system.
great. From Dan, we have another shimming question. Do you need to shim the side jams on casement units?
Another good question, Dan. And the answer to that is yes, you definitely need to shim the side jams. And it's more so for making sure that the unit is fastened properly. And we're taking, if there's any deflection or bow in the jam out, we're making sure that those jams stay nice and straight. Good question.
Okay, next question, follow-up question to the old school felt paper wrap. So if you have an existing house with the old school felt paper wrap, what do you recommend for replacement old windows? I might jump in here from sales perspective and probably say that's a good candidate for Andersen's 400 series with the compression jam. But certainly if you do all your shimming and everything, and you happen to have an old school felt paper house.
Yeah, I'm kind of more inclined to probably go, directly to the sheathing at that point.
Okay.
Because you want to try to get it as tight as you can.
Yeah.
If the house is not insulated like they are right now, you may be able to get away with the splines, and it really depends on where you live too. I mean, if you're right on the ocean, you probably want to think about a different different type of install. And I always talk about a gasket effect type install. So, you know, maybe eliminate the splines altogether and go do that perimeter sealant, you know, incorporate the pan system and then just do right to the sheathing, you know, almost like what the type of install that we're doing with the zip wall, I guess.
Right, similar.
Yeah, does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah.
So,
Next one is from Bray Carpentry. You installed the drip cap right over the window. Is this because there was no trim installed? As per the normal trim install, we installed the drip cap on the top side of the trim. Are you saying we need 2 drip caps?
so another good question. So the drip cap that we installed was specifically for the window. And you generally, a lot of guys will do a secondary drip cap up over their exterior trim on the top as well. As you know, if you're following the drainage plane, that's a good practice to do as well. So yes, 2 drip caps on that for flashing detail on the
Yep,
top.
yep. So next question from Ron. How do you feel about copper pans?
Well, copper pans are needed in some building applications when you know, again, you know, with the copper pan, you're not getting the thermal break. What I've seen in the field is a lot of guys, they are using copper or lead. They're using a flex wrap over that to try to eliminate or try to decrease that, you know, the thermal, you know, that, I guess that cold to, you know, to transfer inside. So, you know, again, sometimes you have to use the copper, sometimes you have to use the lead, you know, when you're coming into a roof line and stuff like that. So, you know, you can't, it's maybe unavoidable at that point, but at least you can, at least you know the, you know, you have options there.
Right. And the big thing is that thermal break. Certainly lead is a no-no because of that. We often see moisture on the inside, especially the cold winter we're having this year.
Yeah, I mean, you know, the lead and the copper, I mean, and not a lot of guys, you know, not a lot of people are using lead now. They're using the, you know, the flex or a different type of pan system, but, you know, which is good. I mean, it's the flex is the way to go. Eliminate that, you know, the transfer of the cold going into the inside, like you said.
Yeah.
So thermal break all the way.
Exactly. Next question from Peter. He brings up a great question that's asked, and it's a debate we've been having for a long time. Does the drip cap come with the windows?
The drip cap does come with some windows, I would say, and some would not. Let me explain with that. If you get a mull unit from the factory, you're going to get the drip cap that's going to be applied to the unit. Okay. If you get a single unit, it's not. It's usually sent out by our sales teams, right, in lineal, in which has to be trimmed to fit. So hopefully that answers that question.
Yeah, it does. And we should definitely mention that is Tony Shepley and just the Shepley team in general. Is when we get asked questions from the factory, that's often at the top of our list of the to-do list for the Andersen factory is put that drip cap pre-cut in the box with the window. So fingers crossed, we'll see that improvement in the next couple of years.
That would be a good request.
Yep. Next question from Josh. In some cases, I've used a piece of clapboard to pitch the rough opening to the outside before installing the flex pan. Have you seen or done this?
I've never done it, Josh, but I've heard of that. I've heard of guys talk about that. I've heard of also some guys, you know, putting a piece of, ripping a piece of plywood, 1/2-inch plywood down and running it along the inside edge here, creating, you know, when you do your flex, you can kind of create a, you know, a normal pan, I guess, as opposed to this flush one. So yeah, I have heard of that. I've never done it, but I've heard people talk about it. The thing you got to be careful with that, if you are using a piece of clapboard and you're building up that area, you want to pay attention or, you know, think about the rough opening too, because the rough opening may change, right? When you're doing that.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Next question is another follow-up. Great questions, by the way. Thank you all for great participation tonight. So the drip cap that goes over the window doesn't come with the window. Sometimes it does. If it in
Comes
case
with
of
the
a
mulls.
mull,
Comes
yeah.
with the mulls, but not with the
Yeah.
single units.
Is it metal or plastic?
It is metal. It's aluminum.
It's aluminum.
Yeah,
And
painted
painted.
aluminum, painted whatever color the window is on the exterior, that's what color drip cap you should be getting.
Right. And we stock a lot of drip cap at Shepley in multiple colors in case it gets left off or you need extra for any reason. All right, so that's it for questions for now. We'll have another opportunity later in the presentation to answer some more questions. So please use your Q&A feature on your Zoom bottom left-hand corner. Right now, we're going to go into our new feature on our website and Shepley as a whole that you can find our virtual showcase. So we'd love to see you at our Shepley showcase. Here's a picture of it in Hyannis, and we'd love to see you and your customers come in and see us if you can't, or you want to just visit our virtual showcase ahead of time before your visit. We highly encourage it. So here is Joe, myself, explaining the Shepley 3D Virtual Showcase.
Hello, everyone. This is Joe Murphy, Shepley Showcase Manager. Welcome to the Shepley Andersen 3D Virtual Showcase, just launched and available on the Shepley website homepage. You'll see the link to it on our splash page, but you can also dig in to the Shepley Andersen Showcase by going to Products and Services and find Showcase. So this is the link through the services page on the Shepley homepage, and you will find a description of our showcase, and we'd love to see you, and hopefully you can visit, but if you can't, we now do have available the virtual showcase, which a link is right below on the page. Click on View Now, then you will come to a home page that shows the Shepley showcase and all of the available products for you and your customers to explore. And we're really excited to be able to show you them tonight. So welcome. Here are our front doors, and you'll see some of our displays that you can see from our front door. You'll also notice that there's small little detail buttons that you'll be able to click on to get more information on products. And there's also going to be links that will bring you to the homepage that's associated with that product on Andersen's website. So let's try our first one. This is Andersen's architectural series entry door. We have it on display in an exterior color of red rock, but you can get available colors, over 50 available colors, standard, which won't affect the price. And then also get an interior, you have multiple wood species that are available as well. By clicking on the bullseye that you'll see on our virtual page, you will have a brief description of the door, as well as a link below that you can click to go to Andersen's website, product information, or design this door. Design your own door is a very popular feature that's available now for homeowners. They can go in and select different colors, different grille patterns, different panel designs. So it's a great feature if somebody's just trying to decide what type of door they want. And right across the hallway from our architectural entry door is a 3-panel Andersen architectural bifold, outswing bifold door. These have been very popular. We sold quite a few of these. They can come up to 48 foot long, up to 10 foot tall, and various configurations. And they all slide in one direction, two directions, if you want them to. This one we have on display at our Shepley showcase is 8 foot wide and 8 foot tall. And they all stack in one direction from right to left. Again, you can click on that bullseye that will get you to the product page that's associated with that product. And in this case, that also brings you to a link with a YouTube video that will give you a short description of Andersen's what they call big doors, and in particular, the folding door. Keeping with the subject of big doors, this is a more standard patio door, what we call a biparting 4-panel door, Andersen's A series. It is 12 foot wide and 8 foot 6 inches tall. It has what Andersen calls a modified colonial grille to it. This has been a very popular feature that we've sold quite a bit, and that you've heard probably a lot in the last few years. Rather than pricing in and installing transoms above doors, the ability for Andersen factory now to build a door, a very tall door. So it has a transom look to it that may match your window configurations, because each one of these panels has 6 lights on it, much like a 6/6 or a 6/1 double hung. But instead, it's just one big tall door. And remember to click your link. And another door we have on display, the Wyland lift and slide. The Wyland lift and slide, you've heard in the last few years in these dinners, we've discussed big doors and big openings, and the ability to have a wall of windows, wall of glass that can all be moved to one direction or the other, or in this case, you have a 6 foot wide by 10 foot tall exterior pocket door. So the ability to just pocket that door right inside the existing exterior wall. And it's a really, really nice option for the outdoor living that so many people are trying to design into their homes. This has 3/16 of an inch that's only exposed on the sill, that connects with a drainage system that is buried beneath the floor. So there's quite a bit of engineering that needs to go on with these, and we'd love to see people come into the actual showroom and discuss it with them, or over the phone. Certainly with any sort of meetings that we can do over Zoom or in person, just to explain how those systems work and how you can design them into your next project. Here's another example of big doors, one that's pretty new to our Shepley Showcase. It's a 3-panel Andersen multi-glide door. The difference between a multi-glide door and the lift and slide that we just looked at is the sill and the operation of the door. Lift and slide is just what it sounds like. There's a mechanism that lifts the door up so you can move over the tracks and then release it down so it sits on weather stripping and creates that weather seal. Multi-glide is more like a traditional patio door, but all the panels operate and open on top of one another, so stack basically. So what you're looking at right now is a 12 foot wide and 7 foot tall stacking multi-glide that all stacks in one direction from left to right. The nice feature about this one is it's automated. You'll see on the right-hand side, the trim work that we have is hiding a motor that you can actually press a control panel and open and close, stop in any direction, which has a safety feature that will stop if anything is going in between the door. A great feature and something that's very, very cool. And has been very popular. We've installed a few of these this past 2 years. And here's a close-up of that operating panel that you would use in order to operate that automatic multi-glide door. And here's our tried and true, our best seller, the Andersen 400 series tilt wash double hung window on the right-hand side in black exterior, white interior. Also with that little bullseye that your customer can click, and it will have a link right to the site, give you more information. On the left-hand side is its companion, also a 400 series double hung window, but the Woodwright window. Some slight differences. It's a little more expensive. It's got wood jam liners, a little more precise grill work, architecturally correct. So a nice feature, and that's why we have both of them right next to each other. As you can see, the frames are actually the same. It's the sash that's a little bit different. So on the right-hand side, the black tilt wash has been very popular, and it still has a lot of features that you can choose from. We have it on display with full divided light grills, which is an applied grill, exterior and interior, with a spacer bar in between the glass to make it look like 6 individual panes of glass, but it isn't. It's one big sheet of glass. There's also other grill patterns and designs and configurations throughout the showroom. On your right, Andersen's A-series patio door, swinging door in swing, 6 foot wide, 6'11" tall with a transom above. On your left is some of our Andersen storm doors. They're available to see and to zoom in on and get all the particular information from, again, your product pages that you can get right through those little bullseyes. A very cool feature. Something relatively new to the Shepley Showcase is Andersen's 100 series. It's a completely Fibrex window, so composite inside and out. It's a really good alternative to vinyl windows. It's a really strong and durable finish that's put on the Fibrex. Very low maintenance. Comes in a variety of colors for interior and exterior. On the left-hand side, you're looking at a gliding window. On the right-hand side, you're looking at a single hung window. So inexpensive and a great alternative to vinyl. And those are also on display at the Shepley Showcase and virtually through your product pages. Here we have an example of Andersen's 400 series Stormwatch product. So hurricane windows, as some people like to refer to them. Andersen refers to them as their Stormwatch. On your right-hand side is a Stormwatch 400 series double hung window with a combination storm screen. That really keeps it well protected from the weather. And on the left-hand side, a casement, 400 series casement with impact glass, Stormwatch as well. And here we have an example of Andersen's A-series Stormwatch unit on the left-hand side, a cottage double hung. So the top sash is slightly smaller than the bottom sash. That about covers the basics of the Andersen showroom. We hope we'll see you in person, but if not, please encourage your customers to go and look around and see what they like and don't like, and utilize those links in order to get to the Andersen website to answer any and all questions. As always, please call or email the showcase and talk to your individual salespeople, and really appreciate your business. Thank you.
Great. I can hear the computers clicking around right now. Hopefully you're checking out the virtual showcase. And if not, please do as soon as you can. We'd love to see you online and in person. We have a couple more questions that have come in. Mark, if you're up for it again. First one's actually a product question. What does the screen system look like on the multi-glide door that we just looked at? Very cool screen, 1 3/4 inch thick, very beefy. You really like the look of it. We've had a lot of comments on how thick and durable it looks like. But you do have to account for the extra track, because depending on how many panels you have on that door, that sill could be 8, 10, 12 inches deep. So you really want to, and you have to account for the screen on the sill as well. Next question is from, I have a customer with a 5-year-old slider, difficult to open and doesn't lock. Is it covered under warranty? I'll let Mark run with that one.
So that falls within Andersen's 2010 warranty. Okay, and what I mean by that is with hardware components that if you get a defective, like say for this instance, if it's hard to roll, it could be a roller that maybe gone defective or something like that, or it could be out of adjustment. But that roller would be covered underneath the 10-year warranty. The 20-year part of it is the glass. So Andersen covers any stress cracks or a seal failure for 20 years on that. Anything you get over that period of time, it's again, it's the called the 2010 warranty. We here at Shepley's, because you're customers of ours, we're part of the DSN program, and we have a 2-year warranty for our customers, where we'll take care of the parts and labor for that within the first 2 years of the manufacturing date.
Great.
So
Yeah, a great resource, and just the service department in general at Shepley. So
yeah, exactly. Partnering up with Andersen has allowed us to do that, and it's a great opportunity.
All right. So now what we've done is you've gone through all these installation videos. You've seen all our tricks and our tips for a really, really strong install. We put together a lot of other resources on our website, so you can find all this stuff in one central location. So if you go to our website under the Windows tab, you'll find window installation guides, window catalogs, any news that's pertinent to the Shepley Showcase and the Shepley Windows and Doors division. Where this will bring you is Andersen's website. They have a really cool feature called the Installation Configurator, and it asks you a series of questions. What type of product are you installing? What series are you installing? And then it will come up with a printed PDF version, but also in most cases, a video and step-by-step instructions. So definitely utilize that. It's great. It will go over all the steps that Mark and his team went through earlier, and we highly recommend that you do that. And while you're online, we'd like you to visit our YouTube channel as well. You'll see Mark's video that you saw earlier tonight, but you'll also see a lot of videos that we've made over the years. And there's been some really, really popular ones. There's one in particular that Mark did a few years back that's had over 200,000 views on YouTube. So a really great resource, and we really recommend that you take advantage of it. Installation videos are right on the bottom of the YouTube screen. So we want to kick it to Tony and thank you all so much for your business. And Tony is going to take us out. And thank you for attending tonight's seminar. And we'll see you soon.
We really want to thank you for joining us, and we hope you've enjoyed tonight's presentation. Certificates of your attendance here tonight will be emailed to each of you within the next 2 weeks. The videos that you watched tonight, along with many other helpful resources, are available on our own YouTube channel and at shepleywood.com. And remember, if you have any questions about Andersen products, there's always someone at the Shepley Showcase to whom you can reach out for assistance. Thank you.